What is going on, everybody? It is Saturday, March 28th, and we have a massive baseball slate to talk about. We're going to go over every single game. I'm going to give you guys my favorite plays for those games, some of my favorite pitching props. I'm going to give you guys a free slip that I actually locked in on Underdog. I will say, once again, guys, when I'm getting these baseball videos out so early, there's not a lot of props on the board, so it makes it a little bit harder to find I'm not going to say the best value because the slip I'm giving you guys, I actually really like this slip and I think it's going to cash. But there's just not enough props for me to do 2 to 3 slips like I normally do for NBA. So you're only going to get one slip. I'm going to give you guys some money lines because money lines, again, guys, have been so green. I have cashed like 9 of the last 10 money lines that I posted. I'm going to pull something up for you guys real quick. These are my baseball money lines I gave you. Yankees money line, 1 unit. Marlins money line. I ended up pairing them with the Blue Jays plus 1.5. And I did this to get right at even odds because the Marlins were juiced and I didn't want to play them in a straight bet. I did play them on my ladder challenge, which I'll show you in a second. We took the Braves money line, and then right now we have the Guardians money line. So if the Guardians cash, we swept our money lines. I did play NBA. I played the Cavs with the Trailblazers. I think the Trailblazers are behind right now, but I think they're going to come back and win, so that would sweep the NBA. That's the only one I ran. But you can see, cash the Yankees. Give us another. Cash the Braves. Cash day 2 of our ladder challenge. I said keep the money coming. The Marlins and the Blue Jays cashed us. So we have been dominating these. Hopefully we can keep that going. Some of our wins I'll go ahead and show you right here from tonight. Those are the money lines I played. I do want to show you a round robin we ran because this was a huge cash out. So played this slip. So what we ran a round robin on this. So Chris Sale, Sandy Alcantara, and Mike Burrows. I played 2 overs on fantasy, then the under on fantasy. This is $150 to pay $975. This has already cashed. Mike Burrows, this game is still going. It's in like the 9th inning right now. It's about to cash. So this slip doesn't show green for me, but we ran Chris Sale with Alcantara, Chris Sale with Mike Burrows, Alcantara with Mike Burrows, and then we ran the 3-man. So these are 3 $500 slips that cashed, and then the $900 slip. And you can say slate isn't as good today. A lot of aces pitching. I do like this slip though, and ran it in a round robin. So a round robin is just playing these in 3-man combinations. So just to show you guys that. Here's the one slip that cashed, Alcantara with Chris Sale. It's 150 to win a 525. It's a 3.5x on Underdog, which is why I'm playing these round robins on Underdog. Freaking crushing them, man. So that right there is a $2,000 win profit just off of that one round robin, not counting the money lines, not counting the slip I gave you on baseball yesterday because I gave you guys this for free. It is there. Alcantara, Chris Sale, and then Kikuchi. It was a $50 bonus, a 50% boost. We played $50 to win 142. Gave you this on YouTube yesterday, as well as the money lines. I gave you guys this Miami Marlins play on Instagram for free. If you're not following the Instagram, go follow it. Played it on Sleeper. Completely destroying NBA. These are the days before another round robin sweep. So MLB's been insane. Hopefully we can keep that going. If you guys do want to join our Discord, there is a link down in the description. We would love to have you guys a part of the Discord server. If you click the WAP link, you guys can join our Discord or get all of our VIP plays, and get every single one of these slips. It's only $15 a week. You can do monthly if you'd rather do that, and you can get 20% off using code MLB. So that is there if you'd like to use it, and I'll pull that up real quick so you guys can see. Get VIP status right here. This is going to be our WAP page. So you go to this WAP page. There's a $15 a week right here. You can hit the +2 options. You can do yearly or monthly, and then you guys can do code MLB right now for 20% off if you want to try it. We've been crushing it, like I said, and we'd love to have you guys in there. Other than that, any app in the description you can sign up for with our code. You can get a free month of VIP for each one you sign up for. I am pushing Novig a lot right now because on Novig, if you deposit $5, they're giving you $45 for free. An insane deposit match. But that's there, guys. Let's talk about these MLB games. I'll shut up a little bit about our wins. It's just been so green lately, guys. It's hard to not be excited because baseball is here. We're 2 days in, and I'm up like 10 grand in 2 days, which is phenomenal for my $250 unit size. The 40 units in 2 days is crazy. Hoping we can keep doing that. I am struggling a little bit compared to baseball with NBA. Our NBA parlays from the free picks. One of them missed, and the other one is going to look like it's going to be sweaty. We need Klingon for that double-double to cash it. But other than that, guys, still way up the last couple of days. But what we're going to do is we're going to run player props real quick. If you guys want to use the website I'm using for your research, it is called outlier.bet. And there is a 7-day free trial link down in the description. But I'm going to give you guys 3 player props. We're going to lock in that slip live, and then I'm going to go over each one of these games. So first of all, let's talk about our first player prop that I'm going to be running. It's going to be for our man Aaron Nola. So we do have Aaron Nola pitching tonight. They're playing against Texas. This one's going to be in Philly. Philly at home once again, obviously, for the series. So Texas is going to be starting DeGrom. So you have DeGrom versus Aaron Nola. Now, Aaron Nola last season sucked. He really did. He has a long leash. He averages 90 pitches per game. Last season, he got teed up on. You can see his ERA last year was a 6.01. Now, Aaron Nola in the past has been one of the best pitchers in the league. Last year, seeing a 6 ERA from him it hurts to see, because I thought Nola was going to have a great season, and he sucked. He was not a very good pitcher. He did get a decent amount of strikeouts, around a strikeout per inning pitcher, but he looked pretty good in spring training. He should get plenty of pitches tonight. I'm looking at 90 pitches probably today on his first start for the season. So with that being said, the Rangers don't have a horrible offense, but they've been struggling so far to get up. They're not hot right now. The bats aren't hot, and I don't think they're going to shell Nola. Now, with the way Nola pitched last season, he could get shelled. I'm not saying this is a lock by any means, but I do expect him to give us 5 innings. If you look at Aaron Nola versus this offense for Texas, they do have a few batters that's getting to him. Two OPS, a .766 OPS, a 1 OPS, and a .88 OPS. But some batters that haven't seen him, a lot of batters that haven't done well. 56 at-bats right here for Nemo and a .766. So that right there obviously looks bad. But still, I think Aaron Nola gives us 5 innings because his leash is so long. So let's talk about that. Philly, on the other side of things, you got DeGrom. If you look at DeGrom is one of the best pitchers. Now, I'm a huge DeGrom fan. He's been dealing with a lot of injuries, and being one of the best pitchers in the league, his leash is not very long right now. He had 43 pitches his last game from spring training, so he only pitched 1 game over the spring, and he had 43 pitches. So I don't expect him to go deep into the ball game. So I'm not really looking at betting on DeGrom unless I'm looking at like an under 6 innings thing. Maybe I do that, but that's still risky with DeGrom because he can have 10 pitch innings. Who knows? So I don't know which team I have winning this game. We'll talk about that in a minute. But I do like Aaron Nola for 5 outs or five innings. And you can see versus this Texas offense. Texas offense was bottom 10 offense in every category last season versus right-handed pitchers. So a great matchup for Nola. He should cash us out, and I like that play. So who would I pair Aaron Nola with? I ran this on a 3-man on underdog. Like I said, it's going to be a 50% or a 40% profit boost on this one. And I ran Aaron Nola with Chad Patrick. So we're going to pull Chad Patrick up. You can get him on Underdog right now. It's one of the only platforms you can get him on. I played him for the same line, 14.5 pitching outs. I told you guys these 5-inning plays are going to be great for us. Now, Chad Patrick last season, 61% hit rate. Pitching versus the White Sox. So he's going against one of the worst or the worst offense in the league. Not a strong offense at all. They're not hot on the bats right now. You can see Chad Patrick versus this White Sox offense. There's not a whole lot of data to go off of, which is going to be better for the pitcher. And none of these batters has hit really well other than Meteoroth over here with the OPS of 1. So I do like Chad Patrick right now for 5 innings. He was pitching over 80 pitches in the spring. He should give us 80 to 90 pitches easily in this game as long as he's not getting completely shelled. And I don't see him getting completely shelled. In this game, not really anything we need to look at. It's a pitcher-friendly park, and it's not going to be not looking at any rain chances or really bad wind right now either. So looks good for our man Chad Patrick here. 5 innings should be good for him to go, or good to go for him. Last season, he had a 4.76 ERA, gave up 9.5 hits per 9 innings, which is quite a bit, but he did have a 106 whip, so not very much control issues here. Chad Patrick should have a good game here, and I do like the Brewers to win this game as well. So I ran these in a 3-man. I'm going to go ahead and pull this player prop slip up if you want to lock it in. Nola, Patrick, and I threw in Taj Bradley over 3.5 Ks. Now, the guys can pair the Nola with Patrick play with whatever you want. I do like Taj Bradley for 4 strikeouts. He's a pretty high strikeout pitcher, pitching against the Orioles, and I don't know why I had to go through every screen right there before I got back to my Outlier one. But let's pull up Taj Bradley. So pitching for the Twins, pitching versus Baltimore. We look at his strikeout line, it's 4.5. We're betting him over 3.5. Last season, he cashed his 67% of games, averaging 86 pitches per game. He had over 80 pitches in the spring. Should give us mid-80s again in this game. If you look at Bradley on the season last year, 8 strikeouts per 9 innings, so almost a strikeout per inning pitcher. He had 9K. Look at his last few games was blowing up the strikeout lines. Pitching versus Baltimore, he had 7 Ks per 9 innings versus Baltimore. Head-to-head, he had 6 in his last game, but the first 2 games in the season last year, he had 2 strikeouts in both games. If you look at Baltimore, they strike out a lot. Strike out 24% of the time, which is the 27th in the league, so one of the highest strikeout teams in the league. And this is just a good matchup for him. So give me our man Taj Bradley here for 4 Ks. I'm willing to take a risk on it. I've already posted this to the Discord. So if you are in the Discord, you do get these plays early. So if you guys want to tell that is there. But that being said, let's get everything pulled up to the games, and let's talk about these games. So I do like to pull these up on RotoWire. I do this so I can look really, really easily at all the games together and look at all the weather. So I'm looking at the weather here, 0%, 0%, dome. You're looking at 0%, 0% chance of rain, 0% chance of rain, 0%, dome, 0, 0, 0, 0. So no weather issues right now unless none of this is updated completely, and I do always double check before I make any big bets. I will double check a game like that, but as of right now, everything looks clean. So if giving you guys free game here, this is how I start my research off every day. I open up my baseball, I pull up the RotoWire here, pull up is free. I pull up this, I look at the pitching matchup. So Joe Boyle, McGreevy, Cade Horton versus Miles Mikolas, Jeffrey Springs versus Dylan Cease. I go through all these matchups. I find the games where I feel like I have a good eye for pitchers. And I start doing my research. So I always check the weather first. If I see a bad weather game, obviously, I'm going to fade that one. That's going to be the lowest on my radar. But that's always where I start. So let's start with game 1, because we do have a lot of games to go through. And with baseball, I mean, we got some good ones. So, right, and this is for today. So let's go to Saturdays. So, yeah, let's go to Saturday here. Let's scroll down. So right here, we do have Tampa Bay taking on the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals are minus 102 at home. This is even odds. Straight down the middle, even odds. Most of the money right now going to be on Tampa Bay, 55%. So we were just looking at this. We had Joe Boyle taking on Michael McGreevy. Got 2 young pitchers. Both of them are decent. When you're looking at the bats, and let me get rid of Novik. I'm going to slide it over. But we'll take a look at this team. We can look at how they've fared versus each other in the past. So versus Miles McGreevy, you got no data. Same thing here versus Joe Boyle. You don't have much data, but you have a little bit. But these bats have been pretty good versus Joe Boyle. So that being said, just based off of what I saw last season from Joe Boyle, he had that 1 game versus the Cardinals. He gave up 11 ERA. I lean the Cardinals here, and I don't like rooting against Tampa Bay here because Tampa Bay, decent team. Last season, 48% win. I mean, both teams are about the same. Both teams won the same amount of games out of 162 games. Both the teams coming off a 4-loss streak. So it's hard to think that either of these teams are going to dominate the other one. So I'm looking at straight up pitcher matchup here. For me, I'm thinking the Cardinals win. Now, you look at head-to-head data, it's a 50-50 split from last season. I mean, literally, like these teams are like neck and neck. So give me Michael McGreevy here. Give me the Cardinals in this game at minus 102, and maybe we'll run a slip with them. I don't know what I want to do here. I'm probably going to give it some more time, but I am leaning the Cardinals on this one, Michael McGreevy. So if you guys are looking for a money line and you just want to take a chance on it, the Cardinals are there. If you want to run them, I do, as of right now, like that play a lot. Second game on the slate we're going to have is going to be the Nationals taking on the Cubs. You got Miles Mikolas pitching against Cade Horton. Now, last year I had a decent success with Miles Mikolas. Cade Horton wasn't somebody that I bet on very often. I'm sorry, my head was itching. But anyways, you got the Cubs right now, minus 200 favorites at home. They're just a better offensive team. Pitching matchup, we can take a look here, but you got most of the money on the Cubs for a reason. You look at the Cubs, you can look at Cade Horton. He had a 2.67 ERA last season, 1.69 so far this season, or versus Washington, I mean. Not this season, obviously. But a 1.69 ERA versus Washington, a 1.12 whip, 1.08 whip on the season. So very controlled pitcher that pitched pretty well. 11-4 on the season. A good pitcher. So Cade Horton had a great season. Miles Mikolas was 8-11 on the season. 0-2 versus the Cubs. Had a 9.8 ERA versus the Cubs. Miles Mikolas got shelled versus the Cubs. And we can come over here and take a look at him. Cade Horton, you can see not much data to go off of. Garcia and Wood both hit pretty well on their 2 to 3 bats, but still not much data. When you look at the other side of things, Miles Mikolas gets absolutely dominated by this entire lineup. So minus 200 here, I'm more than willing to take a chance here for the Cubs. I like the Cubs a lot. If I had to pick one team to win right now, I'm probably taking the Cubs. I think the Cubs win unless the Nationals just rally and have an insane game. I don't think it's going to happen. Give me Chicago, rolling with the Cubs on game number 2 on this slate. Game number 3, we got the Blue Jays taking on the A's once again. Toronto minus 172 favorites at home. We're not going to talk about the spread or the totals because They're all like 7.5 to 9.5, and then the spreads is usually 1.5. Right here, Blue Jays 88% of the money on them, 98% of the money on them covering that 1.5 run spread. You look at these two teams. Blue Jays won game one. We just played them tonight. Obviously, took the Blue Jays. It was 2-2. They went to the 10th. And went to extra innings, and it was 3-2 win for the Blue Jays here. So tomorrow they do have Dylan Cease pitching up against Jeffrey Springs. This is a game where Jeffrey Springs last season got lit up by the Blue Jays. He was 1-1 on the season versus Toronto with a 9.35 ERA. So he struggled a lot. He had a 4.11 ERA on the season. Had not many control issues, but I will say walks in his per inning pitched. Blue Jays are a very patient team. They get a lot of walks, so this is going to be elevated most of the time versus the Blue Jays compared to the season because the Blue Jays, like I said, a very patient team, very good at getting walks. When you look at Dylan Cease last season sucked versus the A's. 20 ERA, a 3 whip. 4.55 on the season. Dylan Cease pitched for the Padres last season, was traded over to Toronto. Cease is a good pitcher, man. He's a good pitcher. Now, when you look at Cease versus this A's offense, not a whole lot of data. You got 7 to 8 at bats for some of these guys, and a lot of hits. So OPS is very high for a lot of these guys. So Cease doesn't do too well versus this A's offense. On the opposite side of things, neither does Jeffrey Springs versus Toronto. Toronto has a very good offense, and I expect them to light up Jeffrey Springs again. So this game, I'm expecting pretty high scoring. If you look at the total, I think the total on this one is 9.5. It's hard to want to go, or 8.5. It's hard to want to take over or under on runs. I don't like totals for MLB. I'm going to be honest. I know some people love totals. It's not something that I bet too much on just because I'm usually pretty good at finding some value on the pitchers. But I do think Toronto wins this game. They're minus 170. You can't really straight bet that unless you're just wanting to play these juice lines, but I don't think that long-term playing the juice like this is going to be too profitable. But anyways, if we can keep up the hot streak, we can keep it going. But give me the Blue Jays. I think the Blue Jays win. Not super confident on that one, but I do think this game could potentially go over this 8.5 total as well if you prefer to take the total. Next game on the slate is Minnesota taking on the Orioles. So Baltimore minus 150 favorites at home. Most of the money right now on Baltimore, 84% of the money. 100%. It's impossible. How can 26% of the bets be on the Twins, but no percent of the money? Don't make much sense, does it? All right, so we're going to fade that. Looking at the two teams, we got Kyle Bradish pitching against Taj Bradley. Now, I just told you guys I like Bradley for strikeouts. Bradley does have a high ERA. He's not an amazing pitcher for not giving up runs. His whip is a little bit high, especially versus Baltimore. It's a 1.58. Look on the other side of things. Kyle Bradish, 2.5 ERA last year, 1-1 on the season. If you look at the matchups, there's not any data pretty much for Bradish. Then if you look at him versus Taj Bradley, they kind of light Taj Bradley up. So, that being said, give me the Orioles here. I don't think there's much really to talk about when you're looking at matchups like this because pitching matchups are everything. Obviously, a pitcher can have a bad game. Bats can be hot. It's not just, wow, this pitcher is way better and he gets shelled because he can pitch lights out versus the team. He really can. So take it with a grain of salt when I'm looking at this, but this is really when you have to find matchups, and that's why Baltimore is going to be favored. Neither team super strong offensively, but I lean Baltimore here, man. And most of the money's on Baltimore. Makes it scary, but minus 150, I lean the Orioles, and I think they're going to win this game. Next game on the slate, and we have a lot. Holy crap. Okay. I bit off more than I could chew, guys. There's a lot of games. We'll go over each one of these games, though, because, sheesh, it's 11 o'clock, and I'm sleepy. We got about 20 more to go over. If you want to... At least give me a sub and a like for that, guys. If you're not subbed, then just hit the subscribe button, man. This is a long video, but let's talk about it. We got the Rangers taking on the Sixers. Pause, brother. I honestly should just cut that out. That's embarrassing. All right, so we're still in NBA mode. Not used to talking about baseball. Cut me some slack. We have the Rangers taking on the Phillies, not the Sixers, the Phillies. Philadelphia is minus 110. So you got almost even odds here. Most of the money right now, it's around a 50-50 split. I say most of the money's on Philly. More money's on Philly, but it's still not a lot of money. We've already talked about this. You got Aaron Nola with a 6 ERA versus DeGrom, who had a 2.97 ERA. Very good pitcher. The thing about DeGrom is DeGrom's leash just isn't very long. He's not going to pitch a lot. Aaron Nola, we've already talked about. They hit pretty well off of him. DeGrom, they don't hit good off of DeGrom at all. If I thought DeGrom was going to get 80-plus pitches, I would love the Rangers in the spot. But I don't know that, and it makes it tough. So this is a game where I don't really want to have a dog in the fight. If I had to pick right now, I'm honestly leaning the Phillies just because I think Aaron Nola is going to have a good game. I don't know. Just the way the Texas batters have been batting, they haven't been hot, and I'm thinking Philly can win this game. But I'm a huge DeGrom fan, so I don't want to bet against DeGrom because I know DeGrom can come out there and get 10 strikeouts, 80 pitches, 7 innings. Like he can definitely do it. So this game right now, I'm fading. I may end up taking Texas. We'll see. My dad's big on Texas, so we'll see what happens. But this game, this is a tough one to call, and I guess I'll just go with my dad on this. We're going to say Texas plus 110. If you don't want to take it, I'm not confident in that at all. This is a tough game to call. Next game, Marlins versus Rockies. This matchup we do have Yuri Perez, I believe. Yeah, Perez taking on Lorenzen. So Lorenzen was 7-11 last season with a 4.64 ERA, 133 WHIP. Perez 4.25 ERA, 105 WHIP, very controlled. Versus the Rockies, he gave up 0 runs versus the Rockies, went 1-0. Not a lot of data for Perez. Perez versus the Rockies, you can see, pitched very, very good. McCarthy was the only one to get a hit, but he hit a homer, so it's a 5 right here. And then if you go to the other side of things, Lorenzen, not much data for Lorenzen either. Lorenzen versus this Miami lineup has not really seen very many of them, which is going to be a bigger advantage for Lorenzen, obviously. So this is a tough game. Rockies strike out a lot, going against a high strikeout pitcher in Perez. Perez strikes out 10 batters per 9 innings, so I do expect him to have a good strikeout game if you want to run that for player props. I do like Perez for strikeouts. I still lean Miami. Rockies are just a team I don't trust. They're just not a good team. So I'm running with Perez here. I don't think this is going to be a super high-scoring game. I lean the under 7.5 runs on this one, but it can go south quick. It really can. So I'm taking the under on the total, I think, on this one to give me the Marlins money line. Next game is going to be the Pirates taking on the Mets. You have New York minus 153 favorites at home. Take a look at this. 84% of the money is going to be on the Mets. The Pirates, I don't think, are that bad of a team. Now, you have David Peterson taking on Mitch Keller. Mitch Keller, 4.19 ERA, a 126 WHIP. He went 2.19 versus the Mets, and then a .97 WHIP versus the Mets. So he pitched very well versus New York last season. On the other side of things, Peterson didn't pitch well versus the Pirates. He had one game, had a 6 ERA and a 1.7 WHIP, but that's one game. You can come down here and take a look at David Peterson versus this team lineup overall. Had a couple batters that do pretty well versus him. Not a whole lot of data. 22 at-bats here with a .76 is pretty good for Ozuna, but I mean, this isn't a great matchup, I will say that. If you go to the Mets side of things, Mitch Keller doesn't have a great matchup either overall, even though he didn't give up much last season versus this offense. But you can see the bottom of the lineup, or not the bottom of the lineup, but this team hitting pretty well off of Mitch Keller. So it's hard for me to want to bet against the Mets in a spot like this. I still lean the Mets here. Mets at minus 150. I'm definitely going to be playing some money on them. So give me the Mets. I think they win. I think they get to Keller in this one, and I do think Peterson has a good game. So I think the Mets win this one. Next game is going to be the Reds versus the Red Sox. You guys know I'm pretty big on the Red Sox this year. Red Sox are minus 139 favorites on the road. Most of the money going to be on the Red Sox. Most of the money on Cincinnati plus 1.5. I could see that. You got Brady Singer pitching against Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray is the better pitcher to me. Sonny Gray with a 4.28 ERA last season, a 1.23 WHIP. He did have a 1.8 ERA versus Cincinnati, went 0-0 last season, which means he did not secure the win, which means he didn't pitch a full 5, most likely, or they weren't in the lead whenever he finished pitching, whatever. I can't see that. Anyways, 140 WHIP. On the other side of things, you got Brady Singer. He has 6 ERA versus the Red Sox. A 4 on the season, and then a 1.67 WHIP. So we can take a look at the matchup here. Brady Singer gets lit up by this offense. You look at Sonny Gray. Sonny Gray there's some batters that hit pretty well off of him, but 17 at-bats for Hayes here, and he doesn't do much. So I'm thinking that Sonny Gray has a better game than Brady Singer. That's what I'm thinking. I think that this game could be high scoring. I could see both teams getting shelled a little bit, but I do think the Red Sox win this game. I think the 8 total right here, if you could get it at 7.5, I think it's a good line. 8 for the push, I don't love, but I do think that that 7.5 is a pretty good line for the over on the total as well if you want to run that. But give me the Red Sox here. That's a tough game. I do think Sonny Gray secures them the victory. Brewers versus White Sox, minus 180 for the Brewers. They are the heavy favorite here. 84% of the money on them, 98% of the money on them covering the spread. You have Chad Patrick versus Sean Burke. Sean Burke pitched well versus Milwaukee last season, but 4.22 ERA, not the greatest pitcher. Chad Patrick, 3.53, not the greatest pitcher either. Struggled versus the White Sox last season. We can come over here and we can look at the data. I think we've already done that a lot for Chad Patrick, but not much data to go off of. They don't hit well off of him. Brewers, they don't hit well off of Sean Burke either. So don't expect a super high total game for that one. But I do think the Brewers secure a victory at home, minus 180. I know the favorites right here are really the ones I'm running with, but I'm honestly pretty big on some of these favorites. Angels versus Astros, I'm fading this game. I just don't like play. I'm not liking betting on this game, this series. Angels versus Astros. So I'm just going to fade that one. We do have Yankees versus Giants. Again, you got the Yankees minus 120 favorites, 82% of the money, 96% of the money on them covering the spread. You do have Mail taking on Will Warren. So Warren versus San Francisco last season, 1-0, 3.60 ERA, 0.8 whip, 40-44 on the season. Very high strikeout pitcher. Should have a good game versus the Giants. Mail, 2.8 ERA last season, pitched very, very good. Tyler Mail versus the Yankees. You can see a couple batters got to him. Aaron Judge did. Goldschmidt hit off of him pretty well. McMahon hit off of him pretty well. Nobody else really did. You look at San Francisco. You look at Will Warren, how they hit off of Will Warren. Ramos did pretty good, but other than that, not much data to go off of. So this was a tough game because I don't think they're going to shell Mel. I don't think the Yankees are going to score a lot of runs this game, but I also don't think San Francisco does either. So I think this could be like a 2-0 game or a very low-scoring game. And I know when you're betting the Yankees, it's hard to ever think of a low-scoring game because Judge can hit a freaking 3-run homer at any point in time. So I'm not saying that you should bet on it to be low-scoring, but I am thinking this game does stay pretty low-scoring. And I do think that this game could go either way. So I'm not going to make a pick on this one. I could see San Francisco winning. I could see the Yankees winning either way. Braves taking on the Royals. We played the Braves today. The Braves, my team, we got to roll with them. Minus 135 favorites at home. Most of the money is going to be on the Royals. And let's take a look at why. So you got Reynaldo Lopez. Did not pitch last season, been dealing with injuries. Or he did have, his record was 0-0 last season, a 5.40 ERA and a 2.20 whip. Not very good. Then you look at Michael Wacha. So Michael Wacha was 10-13 last season. He had a 3.86 ERA and a 1.22 whip. No games versus Atlanta. So looking at Reynaldo Lopez versus this lineup. They don't hit very well off of him. You got a couple of them with 3 at-bats going that do decent. 12 at-bats here for Marte, who has a .8 OPS, which is pretty dang good. But you look at them versus Michael Wacha. They've shelled Michael Wacha. So Michael Wacha's got lit up in a lot of these. Not a ton. There's a decent amount of data here. I still lean the Braves. There's a lot of money on the Royals. I got to run with my team, man. I think the Braves win this series. I think the Braves are going to come out here and get back-to-back wins. So give me Reynaldo Lopez versus this Royals team. I like the Braves at minus 135. Pretty good odds there, and I'm going to be running them. Next game, you got Detroit taking on the Padres. We've already talked about this one. We've already talked about... I don't think we talked about this game. What am I talking about? Anyways, you got the Padres plus 100 underdogs at home. So pretty much even odds. Most of the money going to be on the Padres money line. Most of the money on Detroit covering a 1.5 spread. Pitching matchup. You got Vasquez taking on Flaherty. I'm big on Flaherty. Flaherty's an insanely good pitcher versus San Diego last season. He did go 0-1. He had a 3 ERA and a .8 whip. Very controlled, extremely high strikeout pitcher. Doesn't give up a ton of runs. Struggled a little bit last season. Went 8-15. You look at San Diego. You got Vasquez, man. Vasquez had a 27 ERA in his only game versus Detroit. He got shelled once again. You got to look at how they're playing versus Vasquez. You can see they lit Vasquez up. We're looking at this OPS. On the other side of things, Flaherty. They lit Flaherty up. Flaherty's a better pitcher. Seeing this doesn't worry me too much for Flaherty because I don't think he's going to get lit up. That's what I think. I like Detroit here, especially for even money. Give me Detroit on the road versus the Padres. Padres are a strong team, especially at home, but I do like this game for Detroit, and I'm going to be taking them to win. 2 more games. Let's talk about this one. So we do have the Diamondbacks versus the Dodgers, last game of the series. Dodgers are 77% of the money, 98% of the money on their spread, and they're minus 225 favorites at home. Looking at this, you got Tyler Glasnow pitching against Rodriguez. This is just... It's a pitching outclass and a batting outclass, and they're in L.A. I don't even need to look at anything. I think the Dodgers win. I'm just going to say that. I think the Dodgers win that game. I'm not going to be betting on it. It's too juiced unless I parlay it. But, yeah, I think Tyler Glasnow has a good game, and I think the Diamondbacks get shelled. Last game, Mariners versus Guardians. You got Seattle minus 180 at home, 1.5 spread. Once again, most of the money going to be on Seattle money line. Most of the money on the Guardians plus 1.5. 97% of the money. Insane amounts of money on the Guardians. You got Brian Wu pitching against Cantillo. So Cantillo had a 3.21 ERA with a 1.26 WHIP last season, pitching against a 2.94 and a .93. Now, Wu's a good pitcher. 15-7 last season. Cantillo had a positive record. He was 5-3. You look at the matchup here, Brian Wu versus this Guardians offense. They honestly have hit very good off of them. There's barely any data. One at bat, two at bats, but they hit very good off of him. So the other side of things, Cantillo, there's no data. So I mean, it's hard to make a call on this one. Knowing the pitchers, I think that the Mariners are going to win. So that's all I'm going to tell you. I think Brian Wu wins. I think he covers for us, and I'm willing to take a chance on him. But that's all I have, guys. That's what I have for today. Hopefully I didn't bore you going over these games. I'll try to go a little bit more in depth whenever I have daytime videos, but your boy's tired. I'm trying to get it over with, to be honest with you. And yeah, that's what I have for today. So lock in what you like, fade what you don't. I'll show you that underdog slip one more time just to show you. Aaron Nola, Chad Patrick, Taj Bradley. Lock them in if you want to. I hope you guys had a great day. Join our Discord if you're not in there already. We would love to have you, and I'll see y'all in tomorrow's video.